Let me just press record. All right, so we have Kandace on here today. We're just chatting, keeping it casual, because every time I talk to her about just like new ideas of photos, and I don't know, she's just really creative, and to her it's common sense, which is funny. I'm like, but it's not common sense. Like, I've never heard of that idea. That's such a good idea. The team needs to hear it. So I am forcing her to suck all her knowledge out of her brain today. All right, Kandace, I'm going to shut up.
Okay, cool. Hi guys. So I'm just gonna jump right in since we only have 40 minutes. Okay, I was gonna tell you a story, but my first most important tip for this business is to be self-reliant and independent. I used to rely heavily on Cody and the people around me to take my pictures, and that never worked out well because I would either be mad the angle's wrong, or they cut off my feet, or they cut off half my head, or their finger was in the way. And I'd be like, oh my God. And it seemed to be like such a struggle. I was researching online and I found tripods. And I was like, well, if we can use a tripod for like a professional camera, why can't we use one for a cell phone? And it wasn't like super popular at the time. Selfie sticks weren't really that popular and I didn't want to hold one anyways. But I went on Amazon and I found like cell phone mounts that screwed on to any tripod. And so that's what I started to do. And then I realized, like, why was I relying on so many people to help me be successful in my business to get the image that I wanted when that's my job, right? Like, photos and documenting our life via social media is our job, not Cody's, not my mom's, not my dad's. So I was going to show you real quick some of the tripods that I have. So this one is extreme. We're going to start with the big one. This one's extreme. It goes to like 7 feet. And I can use this for anything, anywhere, but it is kind of heavy, so I don't travel with it as much, but I got it on Amazon. And the first one I ever got as a new coach was this little aluminum one. It's probably like 14 to 16, 20 bucks on Amazon, and it goes to like 6 feet, I want to say. And this will change your life if you don't have it. I have a couple. I leave one in the vehicle, and that way I always have it, because if we go out somewhere and I'm like, oh my God, I love that, I want to take a picture of that for my social media, and Cody's like, I don't want to take your picture, then I'm going to get mad, right? Because I'm like, well, I need your help. I know you care about our future and our life and all these things. So I just decided to completely avoid all of that confrontation by getting tripods. And if you don't have one, you're seriously missing out. But again, you don't need one to be successful, but it helps. Before I had one, before I knew they were a thing, I would prop my phone up on things, which is very appropriate still. And I still do it to this day if I'm in a hurry. You can prop your phone anywhere, you guys, anywhere, and just take a picture of yourself. One more I want to show you is this monopod / selfie stick. This one is so perfect for when I'm traveling because it goes down so small, and this comes off and this comes off, that I can fit it in a mini JanSport backpack. And I can take this sucker anywhere. So I feel like I'm always prepared. And this may sound like excessive and extreme to you, but this is our business. And literally caring about little things like this is the make or break between, you know, that makes us stand apart. It sets us apart from the people who are just like, I'm just going to show up and take a picture. Like, it matters, right? You have to put some thought into it. So I got all those on Amazon. So yeah, back in the day when I didn't have one, I would prop my phone up on like a candle like this, and I would set it somewhere high and then go take my picture. I still use to this day the timer mode on my phone, because that's a game changer. I used to have a Bluetooth clicker, which I think is great, but they're so finicky. I haven't found one that I trust yet that doesn't constantly disconnect or just fuck up, and that's more frustrating than anything. So tripod, self-timer is everything. I don't know if you guys know this, but I just learned it, and I don't know how I just did. But if you have an iPhone or whatever phone and you have a live photo option and you use the self-timer and you take live photo, you can go through and scroll through the frames of live, which I didn't know. And that's higher quality on my camera, my phone. It's higher quality than just using the burst mode of the timer. Because I used to think live photo was stupid. I'm like, what is the point of this? I don't want to watch like a mini video and it takes up more space. I never knew you could go through and click through the frames in the edit option. It's literally a game changer. One thing that I have found that is a huge impact on the quality of my photos is to quit using the selfie camera for everything. So I only use it if I'm up close and taking a selfie. Otherwise, I turn my camera around where I can't see the screen, and I set my timer up and I run to my thing and I do my photo, and then I go back and flip my camera on and look and see what I see. And it has made all the difference, because when you use the selfie camera, it's like way lower quality. So if you're doing it and you're backing really far away, it's really depleting the image itself, and it just doesn't look as crisp or clear, in my opinion. You can use video, the video feature. Sometimes when I'm trying to do like an action shot, live photo works for this too, but video, if you have like 4K and use the front screen or the front camera, not the selfie one, you can get a really high quality screenshot as a photo as well. That's very helpful. One of my other tips is I'm always usually pretty aware of my surroundings. So I think of opportunities that I could have to take pictures anywhere I go. If I go like, you know, like I like what Nikki said. She said thinking about where she's going for the day is kind of setting her up to get her picture, and it also like motivates her to get outside, because it's not super motivating to be like, look at me, I sit in my house all day. And I used to do that actually as a new coach, and I would come home from work and I would take my picture in my dark bedroom, you know, either a mirror selfie or me working out, and they were just, that's what I did because I was just in the habit. It was easy. And one person messaged me and they're like, wow, do you ever do anything? Do you ever leave? And I was like, what? Like, yeah, I'm out like all day. But for some reason, it didn't click in my head that I should showcase more of my life than just the little freaking 4x6 square where I work out and hang out. And that made all the difference too, because it lets people in to see different aspects of your life, because it's still you, but maybe you went to the grocery store. You could totally set your phone up on like a can of beans and walk down the aisle and set it on timer and literally get an action shot of you grocery shopping and make a post about grocery shopping. No one would even know. I know beans were the first thing that came to mind. I don't even eat beans, but can of beans. And I've tried it before. I didn't get the shot I wanted, but I'm like, anyone could do this. No one even knows. You hide your phone on like, you know, in the food, and then you go take a picture. So to be aware of your surroundings and to mix it up, because it gets boring if it's like Kandace's kitchen every single day. Like people, so when people tell me things on social media, I don't get butthurt, and I'm like, you know, I'm like, okay, what can I learn from this? Like, this person thinks I never leave my house. I should probably mix it up, right? Because there's more to me than just my bedroom. And this person thinks that this is the only part of my RV that I own and no other part exists because this is all they see. So I've been moving around and trying to showcase different angles of where I live, what I do. I hope that makes sense. Words are hard today. So mixing it up with places, different angles. Like I could get so many different angles in my RV that it makes it look like a different space each time, just by placing my camera on a tripod and facing it towards the couch, towards the other wall, towards the bedroom, you know. And I do that in my house because I do promote that I live in an RV house. I don't promote that I live in a home. So I probably wouldn't do it as much unless I had like a really bomb decorated house inside, because I still prefer outdoor photos. Natural light is best before anything. That's another really great tip. Natural light, natural light, natural light, natural light, natural light. Artificial light is just harsh. It's hard to edit. It doesn't really flow too much. With your page, it gives it a really weird, unattractive, in my opinion, yellow tint, which to me looks dingy, and I don't want dingy photos. So think about that. If you can prop your phone up in front of a window, if you have to take one inside and there's like the sun coming through, beautiful, do it. If you can step outside because there's like a green tree to mix it up, do that. Sometimes I remind myself like, wow, you've taken photos 8 days in a row inside. Do you have a life? And then I have to like say, okay, well, I'll go take the dogs for a walk, right? I can do that. And then set the phone on a freaking rock when I'm walking and go walk the dogs and get an action shot. Like, look at me outside. It really makes all the difference. I promise. And it's not boring. So you don't want your page to be boring. Like, yes, it's about you, and a lot of the things about you don't change and who you are, but you can express yourself and share parts of your life in fun ways, right? I can't read my writing. That's cool. Lighting, we already talked about lighting. Something that I did that I know is extreme, but this business is important to me. I replaced all the lighting in my house. Okay, and like people are like, I've heard people whine about this all the time. Light bulbs aren't fucking expensive. They're not expensive, not at all, especially for as long as they last. And if you do happen to say, okay, well, I work all day and I take a lot of my pictures in the inside, well, then replace some of the bulbs with bright white lights that are more photo appropriate. It's really not difficult at all. It takes a second. You just unscrew it, screw the new one back in. It's a business write-off. It's the little things like that that are small efforts that really transform, you know, the game for you. And it's the things that other people think don't matter that really, they do. They add up. They matter. So I've done that. I've replaced every single light bulb except this one that drives me fucking nuts because it's yellow. Do you see how it's yellow? Whew. I just turn it off when I'm taking pictures, but it's over the kitchen, so it doesn't matter. And then my literal top tip for taking your pictures is wiping the lens of your phone. Wipe the lens of your phone. Wipe the lens of your phone. You guys, we were at leadership in Arizona, and that's like 5-star and above. That's like the top of the company. I'm watching these girls taking their pictures, and they don't wipe the lens. And I see the picture on their phone, and it looks like someone was really cold on a cold day and went on the lens of their phone, and then it stayed like that. And I'm like, how can you even look at that picture? It literally looks so blurry and foggy. And I don't know if you noticed, but it makes the lights like, you know, like when you squint your eyes and you see lights, that's what it looks like looking at a photo from a lens that was not wiped. It's so simple. I do it with the inside of my shirt every time, and I've gotten in such a habit. I don't even think about it. I just put my shirt inside out, wipe the lens, take the picture every time, no matter even if I just did it. Okay. I get like really crazy about that because it's the simplest little thing that makes all the difference that people just don't think of. And if you do happen to ask other people, this is another thing that I do, like with my mom and dad, I set them up. I don't set them up for failure, but I set them up. So we're outside and we're going into this like home goods store, and we're looking for a down comforter for my rooftop tent. And I see this wall, and I'm like, oh, I need a plain photo for like later. Dad, will you take my picture? And I don't just like hand him the phone and walk away, because like that's a recipe for disaster, and I don't want to fight, right? And I don't want to be like, you suck, right? Because like he's not a photographer, my mom's not a photographer, I don't know. So I literally set up the frame on the camera, and I'm like, come here, Dad, come look, I'm right here, stand right here. And I show him, do you see how I see this? This is what I want. Will you keep it like this and just keep taking pictures? And he's like, yeah, of course. Yeah. So I give it to him, and he just does it. And I go stand over there, and I'm like, you know, whatever I'm doing. And then I come back and I check it, and I'm like, perfect, we did it, because I set him up. I do this for Cody too. Cody's way better now, you guys, because I've taught him, and he's been with me for like this business in 6 years. So my mom, not so much, but you just set people up, right? You set them up, help them out if you do need the help. It only takes a minute to be like, do you see what I see? How I want this tree in here, and this don't cut off my feet. Are we good? Yeah, we're good. Okay. Please don't zoom or do anything. I always tell them that you're not a photographer. I don't need you to like get on the ground and like look at me from the floor and try to get the best flattering double chin angle. No, thank you. And I don't know how much time I have. Oh, I'm talking fast. It was funny because I asked my dad to take my picture, and you know how we like try to like make ourselves laugh so we're not just like awkward in the picture. And my dad was like, what did that girl say that just walked by that made you laugh so hard? And I was like, what girl? Because I was just like, I'm like, what are you talking about? He totally didn't get it. It was the cutest thing. I was like, what girl? I don't see a girl. He's like, you looked at her and laughed. I thought that was really funny and cute. Another tip that I prefer to do, I know that people are like, this is my life and it's messy, so here's my messy pictures. Like, clean up your life. How can you function in a messy environment? Like, come on. I stage my photos. Brittany, just kidding. I stage my photos. I'm just giving you shit. My house isn't a mess. It's not. I just can't function like that. I always want you to be true to yourself, obviously. If that's not your vibe, don't do it. But I'm intentional about what I want people to see when I'm taking a picture, because taking pictures is an opportunity to tell a whole nother story aside from what our words say, right? So what I want people to see, if I'm taking a selfie because I am going to showcase these bomb program results I just got, I'm not going to take it in front of the toilet, because if I post a picture of myself side by side and my bomb results is in front of a toilet, my eyes are going to be like toilet, 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 right? Because like that's the main focal point there, and I don't want people to see that. So I think about, okay, I'm going to close the bathroom door so people don't see that, and it's a blank wall. I think about these things, like, what do I want people's eyes to go to? I want them to see my results. If there is a toilet, there's this app called Facetune, and you can go to this defocus option, which lets you like manually portrait mode your photos. And I do this all the time because you can just simply swipe and blur and then erase. Like you could literally, I could blur out this entire section around me right now on that app and then just keep this super clear. So say this was a mess and I just want them to focus only on me, I would blur all this out. And that's been a game changer in helping too, to drown out like noise. A lot of these things are, I'm like anal retentive because it's really fun for me. And before coaching, all I ever wanted to be was a photographer forever and just take pictures and do that as my job. And everyone's like, you can never make money doing that. And I'm like, well, I kind of am also. But so it's really fun for me and it's really important to me. But this doesn't mean you have to do all the things, and it doesn't mean you have to do all these things to be successful, because I was like a shit show in the beginning. You can scroll back my Insta feed and you're like, oh, right, it was bad. But we learn. We just learn as we go. And once we know better, we do better, right? I pay attention to my feed of photos or what I just posted. I just pay attention to what I just posted. So if I just posted a picture of me doing like starfish in the air, I wouldn't take the same exact picture, starfish in the air, the next day, because then it's like I did the same thing. And the attention span of people nowadays is like 0.1 second. And if it looks like something they already saw, they're not even going to give it a second look, right? So we just kind of have to mix it up with the angles, mix it up with the poses. I know Colleen shared with us that like had a pose video the other day, and there were some great tips and things that I was like, oh, I got like ideas from it too, which is awesome. And I do use the Planoly app, like someone just said in the comments. I'm really trying to ignore those because then I'll be like, squirrel. And I can get way too balls deep into Planoly app because I really like it, but I would suggest for someone newer just to focus on not taking the exact same photo that you just took yesterday and do something different. Like you can do up close or, you know, waist up or feet up or landscape. And those are my options really. I do a scenic picture where I'm like this big in the scene, or I do a selfie where my face is the primary screen, and I do a waist up, or I'll do a full body, feet to head. And those are how I mix it up every single time. And I just try to rotate and make sure I didn't do the same one I just did yesterday. Makes a difference. And it looks better. It's more fun, in my opinion. I already talked about decluttering for pictures. Like if I have this hot pink water bottle in the bedroom, and if I take a picture, you guys, in that hot pink water bottle, it's like right here. It's like, ah! It's like literally screaming. It might as well be screaming because it's so loud. It draws people's eyes, so they don't know whether to look at me or the water bottle. So that's just like an example of why I do that. I kind of just ran through everything I wanted to talk about. What are the questions, Colleen? We have like, what, 10 minutes, 15 minutes?
Yeah. Some of the questions, I mean, as soon as I tell people that you're going to talk, like it's not like just about photos and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips? Do you take your photos in square?
I can tell you about that.
Okay.
So I have the iPhone Pro Max 11. It is the best phone for social media I have used yet because the camera is bomb. So you can capture. So I like to take them in square because I can see exactly what's going to happen, but it was also limiting my editing ability long term, because like a good photographer doesn't crop the photo first, they take the picture and then crop it after, right? So the iPhone Pro Max 11 has the option where it takes the entire screen no matter what ratio you put it in. So if I put it in square, I'm capturing the entire screen regardless. So that's a hard one. It's really preference. I used to do it, I didn't do it, I did it again, I didn't do it. I mean, for a newbie, I would suggest yes, because then you know exactly what you're getting. Because you know how you see feeds and it's just like up close, up close, up close, up close, up close. And you're like, okay, cool. A little bit cluttered, back it up a little bit. And maybe they just don't know because they're not using the square mode. And then once they get to the point where they're going to edit it, they're like, oh shit, I didn't back up enough. So, I mean, playing with it, I would suggest just playing with it. Was that the question? I mean, the iPhone 11 solves that problem. Like, I would suggest everyone go out and get that. Camera's fucking bomb.
It is bomb. And it's funny because the picture, I don't know if you guys saw it, but the picture I took of Sean and I on the chairlift was in, so there's like 0.5 mode, then 1x, then 2x mode. And I mean, I would never use 2x zoom, but like 1x standard 0.5 is the wide angle lens. And it's just, I don't know, it's just, you have so many more options when you feel like you're trying to get all these things in a shot. And because I was outside, it definitely took a beautiful picture. But because we're limited on time, I guess maybe you can just kind of talk a little bit about Lightroom, because I know that you were playing with other apps for a long time. And
yeah,
tell me how you're feeling about Lightroom.
Well, for the first 2 years you told me to use it, I was not about it because it was new, and I was like, but we do what we do and we're ready to do it. So I downloaded Lightroom and I was like, this is a hot mess because it's a lot to learn and it's commitment. you have to learn. You have to learn it. It's different. It's new. There's new options. I absolutely love that I found a preset. It took me about 8 hours to learn this application, mess with it, set up my preset, find a preset. I dedicated the whole day around Christmas when all that stuff went on with my family and I was like super depressed. I was like, I'm just going to jump into something new and something that's exciting, and I'm going to focus all my energy into that. And so I was like, Lightroom. So I literally just downloaded the app, and then I went to Etsy and I bought 4 packs of presets that were like my vibe, like airy and bright. And I ran my every single different photo that I take, like indoor, outdoor, selfie, up close, far away, results, to see what they would look like if I would like them all, because I want something that works with all of them. And I found one, and I just tweak it a little bit. Like going through Lightroom, like I'm sure you already know, Colleen, I'm pretty sure you already did a tutorial on this, so I don't need to like do that, but I absolutely love it, and I'm not going back. I also run my photo at the end through a Bisco filter because that makes my heart happy. So it's really just about each person's style and what feels good and what you like. And honestly, as you grow and as you develop and as you change, your style does. So I wouldn't say you would pick something now and it's your thing forever. It's your thing for right now, until you outgrow it or you find something better. And that's kind of literally sums up this business. You grow and you change and you find something better and you find something better and you find something better. But I'm absolutely loving Lightroom. If you have time to dedicate to it, to buying presets and to trying things. I definitely still do think we have a lot of people on the team that aren't using anything, and it just feels naked and it doesn't feel cohesive, in my opinion, because that's how I felt for a long time. Like I couldn't find something I liked, but my photos felt very naked and they didn't feel very like uniform. And not that I want them to all be the same, but I want people to have a certain feel when they come to my page, and not and all over the place is not that feeling. I didn't want them to have that feeling. So it just looks better for Instagram, at least. And I use Lightroom Mobile. I've never used it on my computer. Lightroom Mobile, I Googled, YouTubed how to use it. I listened to the trainings. I paused the trainings. I went to Lightroom. I paused the training. I went to Lightroom. I paused the training. This is why it took me like 8 hours. And the girl that taught me had like a super thick accent. And I was like, what did she say? But I think it's worth it. And yeah, consistency is very eye appealing. Honestly, everything that we do is to not be perfect or be like, whatever, the perfect social media. It's just to be able to capture people's attention so that our message can reach the people that it needs to go to. I know that sometimes we talk about this and people are like, oh, fake and social media. No, it's like, it's to capture more people's attention so there's more eyes and traction on our page. The people that need to hear our message and whose lives that they need this, like we needed this, we're going to catch their eye, right? And then have an opportunity to help even more people. So bringing it back home. What else?
I think the most important thing about this whole thing isn't really even necessary. Like the edit is cool and it's going to make it pop, but we have to practice taking good photos first, like good photos, changing it up. And there's definitely like times on my feed where like it doesn't flow and it's a challenge. And every day it's a consistent reminder if I have to take good photos, if I don't have good backlogged photos. So like if Saturday's your day to go out with your family and do stuff, the photo doesn't have to be what you're doing in that moment. The photo is just like, hey, over here, what's up? This is my lifestyle. The message is really what counts, but the photo catches their eye first. So if you guys aren't practicing, having a backlog of photos is like my biggest tip, especially like if you have kids, it's not easy to like, Nixon would never take a picture on a tripod. So I have to make sure that I always have content to put out. And it shows when I don't have content to put out. And then the editing sucks because the photo isn't good. So if you're struggling with photos on social media, I would focus on the photo. And then once you're like, all right, I have photos, let's go edit them, then you can learn how to edit them. Callie, sorry, gave a good, I always do that. If you have a, what?
Sorry, I was going to tell Kelly, that's what Janelle taught me, that Instagram's like your baby, and you say, what does my baby need today? Janelle taught me that. It's creepy, but I'm always like, what does my baby need?
Oh, that's good. If you have a dominant side of your face that you photograph, try using Snapseed, and you can, there's actually almost every editing app allows you to flip the picture so that, like, if I take a selfie or this way or a picture with Nixon this way, and there's a bunch of my feed like that, I can flip it so that I'm facing this way.
I do that all the time. Allie and I were just talking about that when we reuse old like photos from a photo shoot that we did. We'll just flip it and like maybe crop it, make it a little different. That way it just looks like a whole different photo, and it doesn't look like the exact same photo in your feed, but it's still you, so it still works, right?
Yep. Okay, 2 minutes. The other questions that people have are just like asking about like scripts and things that you say, but we can't do that in 2 minutes. So we'll have to plan, Kandace, for another chat. And
yeah.
I think
you could do one on things that I say. Pure Q&A would be fun, but if you want me to come up with scripts, like, I'd rather die.
Well, I think people are just curious, like, we have a system, you know, and
they're not gonna like the answer.
That's why I haven't asked it.
Anything else? 2 minutes? Oh, we have 1 minute, right? We're good.
Yeah.
Cool. I hope that there was something that you guys learned, at least something that can help, and maybe not take picture in front of a toilet or a dog turd. I've done that before, and I'm like, damn it.
Go like look at your favorite eye-catching Instagram profiles, and that's honestly what I take notes from. I'm like, oh, that was a good idea.
Oh.
You can save them.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I have a folder on my Instagram called Pose Ideas and Inspiration, and I save it on my Instagram from other people's. That way, when I'm feeling boring, I can be like, cool, I'm gonna try this one, and I just duplicate it.
Yep. All right, I don't want it to cut us off in the middle of a sentence, so. It's only 11:30. We should have 9 minutes. It lied to us.
Good job, everybody.
Okay. Thanks, Kandace.
Yeah.
See you later.